Hello, everyone. Aloha and welcome to Asian American Pacific Islander Culinary Traditions. It's our second one, our second annual event. It was so popular. We started doing so many others for the diversity of communities we have in Silver Spring. And our next one will be Caribbean Culinary Traditions, hosted by Doris Dean, next month during Caribbean History Month on Thursday, June 29th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. I'm with Silver Spring Town Center, which, as you may know, is a small arts nonprofit that presents about 100 free arts and entertainment events throughout the year, including the Silver Spring Blues Festival, now in its 14th year. We have Silver Spring Blues Week kicking off on Sunday, June 11th, with an outing to Wolf Trap to see the incredible blues icon, Buddy Guy. So join us on the lawn at Wolf Trap for a special outing with Silver Spring Blues fans. And then we'll have events daily or nightly throughout the week, including a special dinner show yet to be announced, but it will be at Jay Hollinger's restaurant. It's a new restaurant celebrating its 1-year anniversary. On Tuesday the 13th, we'll have Daryl Davis performing with Daletta Gillespie. It's going to be an awesome night. And then we have a special event at the Coiner Farm, and it's going to be 2 events in one: a Blues Through Poetry event hosted by board member Brenda Bunting, and then at 5:30 we will have Spice Cake, the blues acoustic duo, performing, and we'll also have a blues picnic. So bring your food and beverages and enjoy a wonderful afternoon into the evening at the wonderful Coiner Farm in downtown Silver Spring. And then there are many more events with Blues Week culminating on Festival Day, Saturday, June 17th. All of our events are made possible with generous support from Montgomery County, United Therapeutics, the Arts and Humanities of Montgomery County, Maryland State Arts, and many others. And now I'm so happy to have all of you joining us and our wonderful array of panelists. Some are new to this. Others joined us last year and had wonderful stories about food memories. We originally had Chef Kaimana Chee scheduled to host this one. However, due to circumstances beyond anyone's control, he is not able to join us. But our friend Tony Sarmiento generously accepted the invitation to step in. Tony is a community leader and avid, just avid in the community, and gardener. I think he's in his garden right now, or it's behind him. Yep. And he also is on the board of the Charles Coiner Center for Urban Farming, which is the site of our Blues Week picnic in events there. So please join us that day on Wednesday, the 14th of June. So welcome, Tony. So happy to have you back with us. Can you believe it's already been a whole year since we gathered? It was such a fun time last year.
It was fun, and I appreciate Lisa pulling this together again. It's, as all of you know, it's very challenging to try to pull something together that is truly representative of the diversity of the Asian American Pacific Islander community. And even if we just focus on food, I think one of the things that would be really interesting, well, first of all, I think the goal of this evening ought to be that when we're through, we should be hungrier than when we started. Now, this is the point. We want to go out and get something to eat, or, think about what you want to eat next, what you want to try. But there is one serious angle to this, and I think it's, as we hear each other's stories, is to try to figure out, well, what are those things that we share, but also what are what are things that are different? Now, my label on this screen says from the Philippines, but it's via Kentucky. I'm the first American-born child of Filipino who joined the U.S. Army in 1925 in the Philippines, and who had originally planned to finish his career, then take us all back, by then 7 kids. But my mother, who didn't want to come at all, she said, no, we should stay here for the education of the children. So I've lived in the United States since I was born, and in the DC area since 1958. And just in my own community of the Filipino American community here in the greater Washington area, it has changed so much. There were no Filipino restaurants when I was growing up. There was maybe one down in Chinatown. It wasn't very good. But now we have a Filipino bakery opening up in downtown Wheaton. There's a Filipino fast food, Jollibee in Wheaton. It is just kind of amazing to see, just in my own community, the increased visibility of entrepreneurs and food entrepreneurs, restaurants, et cetera. And so I think, again, if you can, it'd be interesting for you to share not only your own memories of eating and favorite foods, but also just in the time that you've been in this area, or where you're calling in from, how your community of eating places, of grocery stores has changed. I showed off as we were preparing. I harvested this from my garden just before we signed on. So who knows what this is? These are garlic scapes when you grow hardneck garlic. And it's just really terrific for eating. But this was not part of the Filipino cuisine that I can recall. We would just eat, the whole bulb, bawang in Tagalog. Then I was also saying that this is also from my garden. Actually, no, it's from H Mart. Thank you very much. So that is a place that we probably all share. So with that, I know that Chill, you've got another commitment, so you're on first. Welcome to our discussion. Tell us where you're calling from, and a little bit about yourself. Then proceed to tell us stuff that will make us hungry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chill Kong, and I am a producer for Bossy Bear. Have been an artist director for theater companies across the country, most notably around here at Adventure. But spent most of my time as a storyteller in TV and film, as well as theater. I came back here. This is my mom moved back in with me. My father passed away about a year ago. And oddly enough, my memory that I'm going to share is going to be more about my mom than about my dad. Like many very masculine oriented type of communities that I am a Korean American, we tend to have very few things to say to each other as Korean men. I believe my dad and I shared maybe like 6 words in our entire life, except for when we're yelling at each other about something, but that's not a real conversation, it's just yelling. But one time in particular, I was home and I was having a really difficult time, including with my father and with my career at the time. And my mom does this thing called kimchi philosophies. And so kimchi is one of the main kind of side dish that we I'm sure most of you know it by now what it is. It's becoming ubiquitous. But there are many, many different types of kimchi. And so I was sitting there talking to him, feeling all sensitive and confused about my career, my life. And my mom sat there and just said, Chill, you like all kinds of different kimchi. But I go, okay. She says, well, because you like the regular kimchi, which is the baekju kimchi, which is the cabbage kimchi. I also like the ui kimchi, which is the cucumber kimchi. But my favorite is the radish kimchi. And so I was like, okay. And she said, Chill, The radish kimchi is the hardest to make. You have to get the right one. It has to be firm and just mature enough so that when you then ferment it and put it in all the sauces and juices, it has to just ferment long enough for it to get just soft enough that it becomes chewy, but not too long for it to become too soft and gushy. And I was like, what? She goes, chill, you just like your favorite radish kimchi. You take more time. You need more time. And I was just looking at my mom going, oh my God, she just Jedi mind tricked me with a kimchi story. And that is still one of my fondest memories because she helped me really think about pausing and how food had an important place in the way I see how I deal with my world. And who knew that there were, there are probably like 30 to 40 different types of kimchi. And there are different ways to make all of them. And I seem to like the hardest one to make. And so it was a great reminder about taking your time, about really sitting down and enjoying my time with my parents. And it was after that mini story that my mom gave me, it allowed me to sit with my dad in a way and just took time with him. So we didn't really talk, but we just spent time together. And it is one of my most fondest memories with my dad. And even though we didn't talk at all, but it was my mother who said, just take your time. And so that is my little mini story about kimchi and Korean food in this, as we celebrate AAPI Heritage Month.
What a wonderful story, Chill. I thought you're going to say, so your mother just told me to chill.
No, it was funny. She doesn't like those kind of modern phraseologies are not what
Right.
in my mom's colloquialism.
Of course.
But she essentially said that, and it was funny. It wasn't like, because chill has a connotation of I'm excited. It from a different place, right? Because you're amped up, and that's why you have to chill. But my mom's reflection on about kimchi wasn't about chilling out. It was more about like, no matter where you are, even if you are going slow, just let the kimchi ferment. Let my career ferment. Let it. And she was right.
Well, so Chill, you're at Adventure Theater in Glen Echo now?
I used to be, but I left to focus on Nickelodeon.
Uh-huh.
I have a show that launched on March 6th called Bossy Bear. It is actually an animated TV show that centers on two Korean American friends, and it is the first of its kind on network TV.
That's great. Okay. Again, I know you can't stay for the entire period, but we were really happy that you were able to join us and start us with such a wonderful story about food and family.
Thank you all. I have to actually go off to a production meeting for Nickelodeon. They're on LA time, so they're still working right now.
Take care, brother.
Bye.
So I think up next we have Yukari. Make sure you unmute. Oh, there you go, Yukari. It's all yours.
Are you? Yes, I am Yukari from Japan. Yes, so should I start?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, my memory of food was from grandmother who made omurice, which is, my grandma's time was just after Second World War and then very poor. And American brought ketchup to Japan, introduced ketchup. Before that, I think it was soy sauce and miso. That was the sauce we had it in Japan. But this ketchup was sort of like we introduced Japanese people that, oh, this is a Western food, but we need to mix it with some, creative way. So we made it omelette with ketchup rice with chicken, I guess. And I think it was very economical food because, and also filling. Omelette, Adam is going to show the picture. This is the omelette with, rice is inside of the ketchup rice, inside of the omelette. And I think it's not familiar. I never have seen this omelette in Japanese restaurant in United States. But this is my memory of my grandma used to make. And then now this is like the ketchup was sort of like a design, design line, but she wrote me a Yukari, my name, with the ketchup. And then, oh, this is my own, food. So I was so happy as a little girl. And then I also made this food to my children. And then my child now making to her child. So it's generation to generation. It's a really simple egg with rice inside, filling kind of food. But this is, I really liked. And then I have a lot of memory with it. So that's why I wanted to share this very, it's not so much cuisine about it, but this is my memory of my childhood, my grandma's food. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. If we, some kind of like a picnic we have it in the Silver Spring time, Silver Spring picnic, if we have like a potluck time, I will make it for you. That's all.
That's terrific, Yukari. You have many people on this call, and they're going to hold you to your promise to make that when we get together.
I would like you guys to taste it.
You've already made you've already helped me achieve the goal of being hungrier than when we started. So we have quite a lineup here. Thank you again, Yukari. Who wants to go next? I think we should shift to South Asia. Anyone? We have a number of people here from South Asia. Anyone want to jump in? You have to unmute.
I can go if that's okay with everybody else.
Okay, who is that? Where?
Nita,
Ah, great. Proceed.
so my food memory actually from back in my home state in India is West Bengal. And for us Bengalis, the first item that comes to mind anytime we have like festivals, wedding, any kind of celebration is mutton curry and dish. Mutton curry is like goat curry. That's considered like the best dish for us. And with that we have luchi, which is a puffed flour kind of. It's spelled as Luchi, luchi. And I was just trying to find some pictures from the internet. It's kind of like let me see if I can find a picture, and I can give me 1 second. Can you see this?
Are you sharing? I made you co-host so you could share your screen.
Yeah, can you
So
see this?
click the green button, share screen at the bottom.
Okay, oh, okay, yeah. Can you see this now?
It's opening. There it is.
Yeah, so this is luchi. Um, it's kind of like a, I wouldn't call it a pancake. It's fluffy. I don't know if I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but it's very it's made of flour, and so we use that with the curry called goat curry. So luchi and mangsho are our favorite dish from West Bengal, from Kolkata. And it's said that at one time, when I was growing up, every household at 12 in the afternoon on a Sunday would smell of goat curry, because that was the time on Sunday afternoon lunch had to be goat curry. I mean, 80% of the neighborhood would have pressure cooker. You know, we use just like beef curry. So, you know, it's a little, we had to use the pressure cooker. So at 12:30 in the afternoon, all the houses would smell of goat curry, and we could hear whistles from other, you know, pressure cooker going off in other houses. So it was anywhere in the world, if I smell goat curry and if I hear the whistle going on, it just takes me back to Sunday afternoons between 12 and 1 when we were growing up. So that's my story.
What a wonderful story. You made me hungry. So I'm eating I didn't get a chance to have dinner.
You have to try my goat curry. I would love to share it with everybody. It's very down home cooking. So
That's terrific. So I'm eating a little I don't know what you call it actually in English, but it's called polvoron in Tagalog, from the Goldilocks Bakery, which is a well-known bakery in Manila. So you've helped me get hungrier. So who's next?
Thank you, Mita. That was wonderful.
I can go next since it's kind of a line. I'm Karuna. I'm from Mizoram, not too far from West Bengal. We also have a lot of family gatherings, and in fact, on Saturday I have the women's group from my church gather to help with the garden. And so when we gather, there's always Mita. There's always dal. There's this dal, you know, there's dal. We always have the dal. And then boiled chicken. This is the boiled chicken. I have all of the dishes. I thought we have to prepare everything. We have to present. So it's just boiled with some leaves. And then we have the beef curry, which is really dried. And then, of course, there's always a side dish, a chutney made up of chili and garlic, you know, so with the dal is on the rice, and rice is always, you know, everything with the rice. And then there's if I don't eat rice maybe a couple of times a week, like it's comfort food, like meat and potatoes for Westerners. So rice and dal and pickles or some other thing. And then this one is this is a well harvested bamboo shoot from my backyard, and so this is one of the most delicacy, which makes me the most popular woman in my church group at this time of the year, because they all want to come through my yard to harvest it. So we did my garden, and then we went and harvested the bamboo shoot, and then have a big community feast, which is often, you know, there'll be a big pot of rice, dal, curry, and then the chicken, and then side dishes, and of course some kind of vegetable. So oftentimes we do have a lot of gatherings here, even now, you know, with my extended family here, and it's usually dal is always a prerequisite. Like you can't have a gathering without the dal, and someone is always assigned, bring the dal. Who's going to bring the dal? That's the first thing people ask, who's going to bring the dal? And there's many ways to prepare that. Like this bamboo shoot, the first presenter, I was impressed by how many, how many different kinds they can make the kimchi. And same thing with the bamboo shoot. This is just boiled and we fry it and we pickle it. We do all kinds of things with it. And I was also impressed by how the Asian, when his father died, his mother just moved in with him. Now that doesn't happen too much in this culture, and that's kind of like, I thought that was very very sweet of him to have his mother moved in with him. So just that's kind of it. Like for me, like I love to eat and I love to cook, and I am a Georgia master gardener, and I garden and have a huge extensive water garden or a koi pond, a vegetable garden, a berry bush garden, and then the medicine wheel garden, which I created. So anyway, thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure being here, and then look forward to hearing all the other interesting presenters. Thank you.
Thank you, Karuna. That's wonderful. Karuna and I both like to eat and we like to garden. So
Yeah, man.
growing your own food is just the best. My father would grow vegetables in our backyard in Chevy Chase, DC, that no one else grew. Different kinds of squash and bitter melons. I know bitter melon in Tagalog, it's ampalaya. And of course, he would grow tomatoes and peppers, but that was one way of learning about our culture. Excuse me. So who's next? Anyone want to speak up? Lily, are you going to go up next?
Okay, yeah, I'm hungry already. Said maybe I should talk a little bit and exercise my mouth, and then I would forget my hunger. Tony, it works. It just to take a little bit the description of the food. I'm there. As musicians, in a way, food first. We can play for the food also if financially. So when Lisa called me for this panelist, I was a little worried. Like if we had, because last year there's some great samples of food and soup. They just put it there in the screen. So like, she want me to do a fried rice on the spot, like the chef on the TV or something. I get worried. She said, no, calm down, Miss Chen, calm down. Okay, you don't have to. You can if you want to. So that's good. So I don't have to bring the food. Yeah, my name is Lily Chang. My parents were from China. Father was Jiangsu province. The mother was Zhejiang, where the big city Shanghai is. So they're from China, and I grew up in Taipei, Taiwan. Taught in Taichung, the middle of Taiwan. So the food influence is multi. Basically, after 1949, the Taiwanese food has many more varieties because we from China or from different provinces, different geography, region, culture, and cuisine that's brought it up to it mix with the Taiwanese food. So I will just quickly talk about what I remember my parents were cooking since my cooking is American Chinese. You probably know more about the authentic kind. So basically, they all surround those provinces, all surrounded with ocean and water. So the food of fish, seafood, very fresh. They maintain the more natural flavor. But if you wanted some food in hand, like those Peking duck, preserved more, dry up in the wind, then they are more produced by preserves. So they are heavier and stronger taste. So just be careful with calorie and cholesterol level. Just a few slices, you'll be safe. Basically, the cuisine is like 8 varieties. The Sichuan variety. Sichuan is like the kimchi. It's hot and some others overdo dishes that's really normally hot. And because it's such a beautiful province, this is the prettiest, they say prettiest in the world. So that kind of elevation of inspiration, beauty of nature, gardening, all this delicacy developed. So we have the famous vegetable dish called mapo tofu. That's the kimchi tofu. They put those little star dry up or those ingredients in there. You're like, well, I got one. I couldn't talk now. It's normally hot. So the mapo tofu. The second cuisine is from Hunan. If you think Sichuan is hot, Hunan has to be many hot spices on the food. But they kind of say, we try to add that on top of the food, but we're not trying to cover the nature of the food. I was like, have one bite, it's already changed the nature of the fish. Yes, because the seafood, they are along with the ocean, so they have that advantage. Fish is much more affordable than the meat. So they are good with, you have fish head. That's the most expensive dish, is the fish head, but it's minced. Covered with the red spices that you cannot see, the fish head. So that's the Hunan. The third one, Shandong. Dong is on the east side. So east side, the palace, all these kings and queens those years, and they have those very healthy, dieting, nutritious soup type of food. So Shandong cuisine is suitable for the king. So then you have a fish soup. So my mother's cooking everything else. And then the Taiwanese food she learned from the local Taiwanese ladies. They have a lot of sauce. My mother said, well, that's all sauce, can cook another dish with it. Our dish is more dried. She has 4 little girls, so 1, 2, 3, 4, mine is always many dried dishes. So she started to add more sauce into the food. The soup that's famous for Taiwanese food is shark fin soup. The Chinese word is very descriptive. They always, just like music, they use a very beautiful adjective. It's that the Buddha jumped out of the wall. So if you catch the shark fin in the soup, then you made the jump. So you made a 佛跳墙. Then I think the 5th one is the Jiangsu, my father's cuisine. Jiangsu cuisine, because it's close to Yellow River and Yangtze River, they have a lot of seafood, but their meat is very famous also. And the culinary school taught a lot about how to cut things beautifully. So you have to pass that test of cutting. So they use that presentation as their foremost cuisine. Now Zhejiang is my mother's province, and Zhejiang are famous for a lot of poets. They wrote a lot of poems. So some of the chefs, they are poets or musicians in profession. So they put their artistry and technical facility into the cooking. So they are poetic chefs. That's my mother said, and so all their cooking filled with a lot of good, juicy fat. The famous one is called the marinated pork. Then you have to pass that thick layer of fat, then you see the thin meat. But they eat with the fat, somehow it's all controlled with their diet. Then the Anhui has a lot of different soups. They are milder in taste, I like that. And also the Shandong one has buns, a lot of bread and doughs. And of course, we all love dim sum. And the local restaurant I have gone, the Georgia Avenue has Pocky and Fuki, the Cantonese cuisine. And if you want the dim sum, that's right on my street, pretty close, called Gourmet Imagination. They serve the dim sum on the weekend only. And on the university, the other side, University Boulevard has Wang Qi. Wang Qi is food of all combinations. If you go to downtown center, maybe close to Lisa's place, you know that buffet, Blue Pearl buffet, serve everything, including my Chinese
Yeah,
American way of cooking.
that's in the shopping center in the Ellsworth Place shopping mall at the basement.
Yeah, they give you credit for parking and all this and the Blue Pearl.
Oh. Do you recommend their food?
Yes, I like American Chinese.
So it's American Chinese and but you recommend it?
Yes,
The
yeah,
food?
yeah. So some of the big Chinese ones are in Rockville. There's 99% Chinese is sitting there, but you have to eat chicken feet, duck neck, and that marinated pork with this thick of fat that you paid for. You just need the bottom, but you can take the fat home and you can still cook it, get the oil out of it to fry something because it's marinated fat. That's the Shandong cuisine. So it's good to be Asian. We know we know all types of music and we eat all types of food. And it's just this is so wonderful. I just couldn't wait for the future cuisines.
Well, Lily,
Had
that's
the best
that was a wonderful tour of the different cuisines, but also it just reminded me of the different restaurants. I remember when the first Szechuan restaurant opened up in Chinatown on I Street back in the 70s. And now there's apparently a Taiwanese restaurant, I don't know, in Rockville that someone told me that I need to try.
I forgot to mention that. That's yeah, that's really Taiwanese. They have the best omelet, specialty omelet. We try to get the recipe. Now they're not going to give out.
Well, Lily, thank you very much for that grand tour of China. Again, just to remind us that when we talk about the diversity of the Asian American Pacific Islander cuisine, it's diverse even within one so-called country of China. So that we have a lot of diversity in our community. So Devine, I'm going to pick on you next. Let's shift to Cambodia. Devine, unmute.
Yes, got it. Hello. Can you see me? Okay, can you all hear me good? Okay. All right, so I am Devine Kerr. I grew up in Montreal, but I'm from Cambodia, and now I'm based in DC, and I'm a grandma's girl. Everything I've learned about my culture was from my grandma. My parents were always stuck working at their inconvenience store, and I had my grandma who reminded me that if I'm too wild, I'll act like I want to pick my own husband. And anyways, but if I want to follow the tradition, these are the dishes I need to know. And so growing up with her, I learned everything, like food at home, food from my Tupperware, food to survive on a road trip. While all my friends could stop at Taco Bell on a road trip, I had to eat fish jerky with rice in a little Tupperware. And I'm like, can we stop at McDonald's like everyone else? But that was also part of my heritage. And it was not any fish jerky. It was fish that were blessed from the monks in Cambodia, and so there's a social class difference from that fish jerky, but my family took a lot of pride to say that a relative would go to Cambodia and walk in a backpack and climb a big mountain all the way to a top of a mountain where the monks would chant and bless, and they would sit all day meditating and chasing the flies so the fish can dry, as opposed to the street one that has smoke and dog bark and whatever, anyways. So that fish was special, so I could not waste it. And I miss my grandma a lot. She's still in Montreal. She's 96 years old. And recently she came to my house and she opened my pantry. And she said, "Why is it full? It should be empty. All you have in there is cancer. It should not have cans. It should not have boxes. You should have a garden and everything should be fresh from scratch. This is why you were sick." She came to see me because I had an illness, a misdiagnosed cancer. And she was like, look at your pantry. And my grandma was like, look at me, I'm 96 years old and I can go hiking on the mountain. Anyway, so she shamed me for my pantry. And that really hit me hard. And I'm trying to I'm trying to cook as authentic Cambodian as I can, but it's really hard because growing up, she only spoke Cambodian. So she would send me to the store and say, go get me chi ma'am. I go to the Asian grocery. I'm like, I'm looking for chi ma'am. And they're all Vietnamese, Chinese. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, I didn't know what the name was. And even now when I go to the grocery, it's all Korean groceries, and they call it kayang. They call it something else. I have to like, and it's not always like, sometimes it's packed in plastic. And I'm that person who's like trying to feel and see, is that what my grandma used? So, I'm really trying to transmit culture and the traditions to my kids, but it's really hard, and we have different traditions, and even what's considered traditional evolves and changes so much. Like right now, our new tradition is to feed my kids pizza when I'm in a Zoom right now. So when I was a kid, also, I was ashamed of my lunchbox. I didn't have a cool Tupperware. It was a margarine country crock empty tub, and she would put the stir-fried rice in there, and I would go to school and see my white friends eat bologna sandwiches in cool Ziploc bags. You know, the one that had a red side and a blue side, and when you seal it together, it becomes green. That was magical in the 80s, right? And I wanted that, so I would trade my amazing stir-fry for a yucky bologna sandwich. I clearly did not know the conversion rate back then. But now my kids know better. I pack them bentos and did take a lot of pride in bringing their stinky lunch boxes, and I'm glad that they appreciate the Cambodian food. I tried to cook it as much as I can, like I said, but there was one restaurant in DC that is Taiwanese Cambodian Makedo, which I love the chef Eric Bruno Yang, but I wish there were more restaurants around. Like, we have to drive all the way to like Philly or Pittsburgh to have like 2 Cambodian restaurants there, because my favorite soup is some lokoko, which is translating into the soup that you stir forever. And there's like 21 vegetables in there, like 21, like squash and pumpkin blossom and papaya, green papaya, and there's pork. And then the soup is thickened with roasted rice flour or rice powder. So my grandma would like grill rice grain and then put it in a blender, and then that would thicken the soup. So it was like not quite a cream, not quite a clear soup. And apparently it was like from the villagers. It was the more country people that ate it in Cambodia, but now that is so rare. And since the diaspora, like after the totalitarian regime, all of these recipes are gone too, because even when my family go back to Cambodia, all the cuisine it's not the same. There's a lot of recipes that are gone. So my family's trying to work on a recipe book that brings back like what they used to eat in the 60s or 70s in Cambodia. And I'm working on that too, but I'm going to try to learn, but a part of me doesn't want to learn those recipes fully, because I feel like if I know how to make them myself, it would kind of mean that my grandma and my mom are gone, and I'm not ready for that. So I'm still a little baby and I still need them. And once I have to learn it, I'll have YouTube and I can adapt the ratio to my family taste, but at least I'll know the basics. And then I'll become my own Cambodian adult. But for now, I still need mommy and grandma. So that was my story.
What a wonderful story, Daveen. I can imagine for the smaller communities in number, like Cambodians, it's really hard to find a place, a restaurant. Maybe in some respects, I mean, you just remind me again about how our communities have changed since the immigration laws changed in 1965. You had tiny communities of Asian Americans who had come over before in 1965, but then the explosion of different communities since then. So good luck finding the right restaurant.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So Christian, why don't you go up next? Is Christian on? There we go.
Is he there?
Yeah, Christian's on. You got to unmute.
Okay. You're still, your sound is not working even though you're unmuted, Christian.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
There we go. Well done.
Yeah, my name is Christian O. I don't know if I know everyone here. I'm located here in Fairfax, Virginia. My fun fact is I've been to every school named George. So George Mason, Georgetown, George Washington. I run a couple film festivals here in the DC area, the DC Shorts Film Festival, as well as the DC Asian Pacific American Film Festival. My voice is not so great right now because I emceed all weekend. This was a weekend of Asian festivals, Fiesta Asia, which was downtown DC. And then yesterday was Asian Festival on Main Street in Fairfax, Virginia. I have done festivals for the Vietnamese community, the Chinese community, the Korean community, which I am Korean American, but I always label myself as Asian American because unlike Hispanics you can be from Puerto Rico, from Mexico, you speak the same language. Unlike African Americans or Jewish Americans, you share a history of suffrage, persecution, discrimination. We do too, as Asian Americans, but we don't speak the same language, nor are our histories the same. Just because a lot of us use chopsticks doesn't mean we're all the same. So my food memory, I came to the United States when I was 2. My father brought us to the weirdest area, and I'm not saying it's weird because it's not a nice state or city, but it was weird because there was no Asians in a 1,000-mile radius, and that was Ames, Iowa. So I grew up in Ames, Iowa, there were no Asians in a 1,000-mile radius. And then my father was very different in the way he raised us. He said, "You're not going to speak Korean in the house." And I said, "Why?" Because he wanted us to make sure that we had no accent, that we spoke English clearly. And so he was very discriminated, being the only graduate student at Iowa State University at that time in the 70s. So he wanted to ensure that me and my 3 younger brothers, that we spoke perfect English, or at least attempted to speak perfect English. From there, we moved to Cleveland, Ohio briefly, and then Chicago, and then ended up in another very non-diverse area, Roanoke, Virginia. So the reason I put South Korean and Southern cuisine, my mom did a great job navigating both Korean food, obviously, but also learning Southern food. So I am a byproduct. I love a good fried chicken. I love chitlins. I love scrapple. I love gravy. I love it all. And so there was times where my mom would make green bean casserole with French's fried onions, but she would also, put in some peppers or this just to give it a little bit of Korean kick. I think we all, as Asian Americans, and even beyond that, we all have a love for dumplings, whether it be pierogies or whether it be, mandu in Korean or xiaolongbao in Chinese, or even my Himalayan friends have their own versions of dumplings. And I think that's my biggest go-to food, is that when I see dumplings, it's like, I don't care what they are. I don't care if they're Korean, Chinese, I love it. And then I also grew up in Southern Virginia. The only Asian family was a Filipino family. So I definitely enjoyed ensaymada bread. I enjoyed fresh lumpia. I enjoyed pancit. I enjoyed it all, chicharrones. The only thing that I have not done, because I've traveled to, I want to get to 60 countries before I'm 60. I've traveled to about 45 different countries around the world because I used to be in a government contractor with the State Department. And when I went to the Philippines, and I've been to Cambodia, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Indonesia, Malaysia, but when I went to the Philippines, the only thing I regret, I'm going to do it the next time, but I was younger, they gave me a balut and they said, try it. And then when I broke it open and there were beaks and feathers, I just couldn't do it. I got scared, I chickened out, but
Christian, you must have been reading my mind, because I was going to ask you about the balut.
Well, here's the thing. I promised myself next time I go back to the Philippines, I'm going to try that. I don't have any pictures or anything to share with you guys, but I love connecting, and I think the power of food is so strong, and yet it's so ethnocentric. Like, I know people in Asia, when you explain the process of cheese, they're like, ugh, what? You eat cheese? But then when you look at balut, or I've been to Beijing and I've had scorpion, I've had seahorse, I've had, even bat before. But the thing is food, regardless of whether you're a vegetarian, whether you're, a pescatarian, or if you're a meat eater like me. food is food, but we have to get over the ethnocentric sort of perspective of food. You know, there were times where, thank you for the snaps there. I'm also a spoken word poet, so I appreciate that. There are times where, you know, there was famine. You know, I speak to friends in China and they're like, yeah, we eat everything because we had to eat everything, you know, and it's not about, oh, it's gross or that or this, that, or that. I think we have to have a wider perspective of food. And I really appreciate this forum and being able to hear all the other stories. Again, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or wherever. I think I already told Daveen, because I also promote Asian American comedians and comics. We should definitely connect. And anybody else who wants to get involved with all these different festivals, I've got a Vietnamese festival happening August 12th, 13th at Tyson's Corner. I've got an Asian festival happening up in Maryland near the Chrysalis or the Inner Harbor Trust or the Meriwether Pavilion Post on June 11th. And then the film festivals, APA Film is in July. We might have to push it back. And then the DC Shorts Festival is always in September. So I'm very committed, and Lisa knows this. I've been on the board, even though I can't always be at board meetings because I live in Virginia. Silver Spring, as much as I love downtown Silver Spring and everything it has to offer, I think Lisa's been an incredible force driving, you know, Silver Spring Town Center and all the things that happen. So whatever I can do to help. And again, I have to leave before 8:15. I've got another Zoom meeting, but I'll stick on as long as I can, but feel free to connect. And thank you guys. Oh, sea urchin. Who mentioned sea urchin? One of my favorites.
Christian, thank you very much. I have to ask you what's interesting, at least in Silver Spring and Wheaton, is it seems an explosion of Korean restaurants.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that.
Any
People don't
thoughts
know
on
this.
that?
No, but people don't know. There's actually 3 Koreatowns. You know how you have like Chinatowns and you have like, you know, Eden Center for Falls Church for Vietnamese. The first Koreatown, and people don't know this, was Ellicott City, Howard County. That was the first.
Right.
Second one was Annandale here in Virginia. And then the third one was Centerville. So we call it K-Town ACE. A is Annandale, C is Chantilly, and Ellicott City was the original one. That's where the first Korean American, not in terms of the United States, but the first Korean immigrants within the DMV were based out of Ellicott City. So people don't know that, but we have 3 Koreatowns, and you're right. The popularity of Korean food is because of K-pop, Korean dramas, Korean movies, Korean beauty. I think it's just been, we call that Hallyu, which is the wave, and it's just been going crazy. So, but you know what else has also been popular, my friend, is Filipino food. I think there's been a resurgence of Filipino food as well. So
yeah. So do you know Sojin Kim at the Smithsonian?
Yes, I do.
Folk life. So she's part of a project to document the history of Asian Americans in Montgomery County.
Awesome.
In DC, and I'll try to send some information out on that. To really
sure. Connect. Like I said, I'm an enabler of connections, and so I love that. So yeah, definitely.
Great.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. So who's next? Who hasn't had a chance to speak? Neha,
Yes.
you want to jump in?
Sure. Or I see Michelle here. If Michelle, do you want to go first? Go ahead.
Well, you know, this is really, I'm not really very well prepared for this, but this is one of my favorite things, and everybody can get Spam, right? And when I was like 5 or 6 years old, me and 2 of my friends, this was the one thing that our parents would let us cook. And so we would open the can of Spam and slice it up. And then we would make this sauce with sugar. We would melt after we would have one frying pan where we were cooking the Spam. And then the other one, we would put sugar in it, brown sugar. And then we'd add some soy sauce in there, sometimes a little ketchup, you know, make it kind of like a sort of a teriyaki sauce. So after you finished frying your Spam, then you would put this sauce on top of it and eat it, of course, with rice. And fortunately for me, one of my friends, Morris Matsuda, his family, they were Japanese, and they owned a Japanese restaurant. So we had no shortage of rice to go with our Spam. So anyway, this is just my little thing from Hawaii. And I always keep some Spam in my pantry. It's really bad for me now as an adult to be eating this, but my grandchildren love it. So, you know, this is a big treat. We do fried Spam with rice. So anyway, aloha.
Well, then you've seen those TV commercials, haven't you, Michelle, with about Spam? And it's kind of amazing.
Well, you know, I don't own a TV, so I haven't seen them.
Well,
But
you'll be happy that it's getting more visibility.
Even more popular. Yeah. Well, you know, I can't remember, someone at the very beginning was talking about ketchup being introduced to Japan.
Yes.
And, you know, this is the same kind of thing, you know, Spam coming in after World War II. And I think it came out of Iowa. You know, Spam was first made in Iowa. But anyway, so that's my little thing.
Yeah, Yukari mentioned ketchup as part of her.
Yeah, yeah.
And last year, when Michelle and I were part of this program, I delivered sticky rice with mango made Filipino style.
Now you were supposed to bring me another batch, Tony.
It's in the mail.
I love sticky rice because I grew up eating Japanese food and Filipino food because we had neighbors that were Filipino, and that was one of my favorite things was sticky rice, but also Chinese. My grandfather was Chinese, and I could totally relate to that young man that was talking about how his parents wouldn't let him speak Korean at home. I had the same problem because in Hawaii, you know, there was what they called pidgin English. And my grandfather, who spoke Chinese, and my grandmother, who spoke Hawaiian, they wanted me to speak perfect English. So there was no learning of either language, which is really sad. I feel terrible about that now. I wish I did. Anyway, aloha, guys. Enjoy, especially if you have grandkids. It's a great thing because the kids can cut the Spam up and they can fry it in the frying pan, and it's just, you know, it's wonderful. It's a great treat for you and the kids.
Thanks again, Michelle.
Sure, of course. This is a great evening. I am getting hungry. I might have to cook the Spam before my granddaughter comes this weekend.
Neha, tell us about your eating and why you're hungry now.
Thank you so much, Tony, and thank you, everyone. My name is Neha. Neha means love in Sanskrit, which is the language of my ancestors. And it's been so lovely listening to everybody. So thank you so much, Tony, for holding this increasingly exponentially hungry space, and Lisa for bringing us together. For me, I maybe two threads that particularly I want to pull from. One, Lily mentioned poetics of chef and poetry and music, and I think it was Daveen, you were speaking about your grandmother. So when I first came to the US, I remember my tongue was in utter disorientation. My tongue from that grew up in New Delhi, India, with, you know, I love spicy food. And other than like not seeing people on the streets, which was so hard because I would see cars and I would ask my husband, where are the people, you know, and then my tongue was like, where is the flavor in, you know, either there was like, I didn't get enough spice or there was too much sugar in everything. So I remember the first thing that liberated me when I first moved to the US as a young bride, it was dill pickle, because it was like, oh, your tongue is still alive, you can feel. And what I think it's also related to something which I love in body, mind, and soul is pickles. And I really missed Indian pickles, and especially family pickle recipes of my grandmother, who actually the first time I left for America was the last time I saw her. And actually Lisa reminded me of this poem that I wanted to share with all of you, which is about my nani, my maternal grandmother's lemon pickle. So I want to share this tiny poem with all of you. So it's called Nani's Pickle. Like her love and lost poems, the recipe of Nani's glassy lemon pickle is gone. A taste remains. A little girl tiptoeing to grab a big piece of grandma's pickle, grabbing it from the ceramic jar, running and hiding to eat it in the secret attic world. Only a memory remains of her love and lost poems, like her glassy lemon pickle. And I feel so emotional sharing that, because when you're so young, you don't realize how we are mortal beings. You think you're going to live forever, and so is your grandmother. So I never got the recipe of the lemon pickle. It had this, I can see it in front of me. I can smell it in my mind's eye. I know even if I had the recipe, it would not be the same, because something about the maker's soul is in the food, but I don't have the recipe. And I'm so sentimental about learning quick pickle recipes from my mother when she comes here, or when I go to India. What I do is I either from Giants or wherever I can get mangoes. As a South Asian, I'm obsessed with mangoes. My mother has taught me to make these quick fix mango pickles. So I like saute them, and add my Indian spices and have them with sourdough bread, or have lemon pickle from, there's a place called Amma's. I think it's in Fairfax. It's a South Indian food place, and I love their lemon pickle also. So usually these days in the morning, I get sourdough bread, put hummus on it, so I don't feel so guilty, and I'm getting some protein also. And then I put some a pickle on top of it, and have that. And yeah, I just feel also like memories from India, but also being here and not always having documented recipes. I just feel food and memory and place is also deeply tied together. And also sense of smell, which I read, like of all our senses, smell is what instantly goes to, like, it doesn't go to another processing center. Smell goes directly to where our whole being feels it. So I'm like so emotional about it and sentimental about it. I wish I could make like perfume out of my nani's pickle, my mom's pickles, and rest of my life spray their pickle perfumes, so yeah, that's my my pickle memory. And I loved our very first speaker, who was talking chill, right? He was talking about kimchi and philosophy. I feel it was so poetic, and I feel likewise pickle. It's so philosophical. It takes patience. It takes a lot of love. It takes sunshine, just like us, and our life. And sometimes mistakes can also become very tasty in pickles, just like in life. So yeah, thank you for hearing and for making this collective pickle together.
That was wonderful, Nia. Well, this is,
Thank you, Neha.
I knew I was going to be hungrier at the end, but I didn't realize I'd be so touched by the stories. We had quite a range of emotions that stories have gotten us to feel. Let me ask, let me do a quick survey, because again, what I find interesting is this again, what are the similarities and what are the differences between our cultures and our food. So raise your hand if mango is part of your cuisine. So I know mango in India and Philippines. And let's see, Cambodia, I see you're raising your hand. How about garlic, my favorite? I hope everyone raised their hand. Is garlic is not someone from India. Is garlic an important part of?
Very much so. I'm sorry, I couldn't raise, I don't know how to, I couldn't
No,
find.
just raise your hand. Literally, it's so much easier.
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah, and also Tony, I'll just add like also because our countries are also so diverse, right?
Right.
So like for my grandparents, they were very conservative Hindu tradition, you know, and they would not eat garlic. Like no garlic would enter the house,
Yes.
and the next
Really?
generation would see next generation would secretly eat garlic. You know, so yeah, there's so much like diversity within, because of course we come from such big areas, you know.
Yeah, so that's a really important point. That's my point about how Lily reminded us about this huge diversity of so-called Chinese cuisine and Chinese culture. It's the same, probably equally diverse when we think about the subcontinent of India. Even in numbers, the number of people who are some the Indian American community now are just so much bigger than when I was growing up. I mean, the numbers back in the 60s were Chinese, Japanese, and then it was Chinese, Filipinos, then Japanese, and then the growth of the Vietnamese community. It's very interesting how it's affected our communities. How about bananas?
Oh, okay.
Bananas part of the cuisine? And then I had one more. Well, rice is the obvious one, right?
Yeah. But Tony,
Yes.
I was just gonna say, what about coriander? I find coriander so fascinating because, you know, everybody has different names for it. And I think it's all over the world, but I don't really know. It's definitely in India, right?
So coriander and cilantro, that's what
Yeah, coriander, cilantro, Chinese.
Put in my
parsley.
Chinese cooking.
Yeah, you know,
I use the Western things too.
yeah, we called it, I mean, in Hawaii, we called it Chinese parsley,
Ah,
Oh,
but it's actually coriander.
right. I take it because the leaves look similar.
Yeah, they're kind of they are kind of parsley like looking, I guess. I don't know whether that was a Hawaii thing. What about the other Chinese out there? Did you call coriander or did you call it parsley?
both.
Japan, we don't use coriander, but since I came to United States and then I really, you know, I put everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too. Since I have the powder kind.
Yeah,
The jar,
I
it's
say
a
to
set.
my husband, without coriander, the food doesn't sparkle.
That's a good word. Yes.
So how about, I mean, yeah, coriander and cilantro is not big in Filipino cuisine that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
But how about hot pepper? See, in the Philippines, not so much in terms of hot pepper. We use black pepper and vinegar. I mean, in the Philippines, you have kind of this, you can imagine the different cultures that had this profound effect on Filipinos. You had the Spaniards, but you had the Chinese and the spread of people up from Indonesia. So we're a total mix-up.
In Japan, the hot pepper used as like a hidden taste. we don't put it in the like the last moment make the food spicy, but we just put a little bit and then make it sort of like a hidden taste of little bit of spice. I don't know what.
We use the long dried red hot pepper because the color. That fish that cover the fish head that you chopped up, and you chopped up a layer of those red dried hot pepper for coloring also. It has to come out red. Red. Food is red. So yeah, that's really hot. Yeah, couldn't eat it that much hot stuff anymore.
In Hawaii, what they did was they would always grow these hot peppers, but they were very small. They were really tiny. And my grandmother would make a slit in it, and then she'd put it in a bottle with water, and it would become, they called it chili pepper water. And it was really, really hot.
They can soak in oil to make a chili oil. Right?
Yeah, but I don't know why they did it. I don't know why my grandmother did it in water, but that's just the way, I guess it was what she cooked. You know, she would add it to like soups and things like this.
Or pickled maybe, because we have the pickled cabbage, and try to use the clean chopsticks to dip the liquid with the salt, pepper, all kind of thing that needs water.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
You pickle them.
Because they cooked, Chinese, they cooked Japanese, they cooked Filipino, and Hawaiian foods. I grew up pretty much with all those foods when I was a kid.
And the spam.
Spam.
I remember that's my favorite when I came to America. Although food is all cooked. Leave a cooked food in the can. That's very easy.
I know, yeah.
For somebody to cook.
I want to share one picture, everyone, if I may,
Yes.
from my late grandparents' house in North India.
Lisa, can you arrange that?
Yeah, I see it. So let me see. Can you see this?
Yes.
Oh,
That's how much we love red chilies.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Like seasonally,
More than my
this is
chili.
my uncle who's a orthopedic surgeon and a pickle maker. This is he's my favorite uncle. This was my maternal grandparents. This is our ancestral home. So this is like a ritual for to dry red chili. Yeah, and then this is used in both in like seasoning, and then I also love how things go through multiple avatars. So they're used in seasoning, there's pickle, and all kind of like powdery mix and paste are also used. So yeah, I feel.
Nia, I'm glad that you pointed out that those were chilies. So I'm looking at the plants first, and I said, "Oh, that's an interesting blanket in front of it." Interesting pattern on that
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
a great pattern on the blanket.
Actually, I miss, that part. I live in a co-housing building in Silver Spring. So we have a roof, but I miss, when I first came to the US, I also really miss roofs because we have like these roofs, right? Roofs are such a big part of the culture and life in, like, for me at least, like in my ancestral homes. So much fun things and happen on the roof, like making chips, potato chips, pickles. So yeah.
On the roof.
So let me throw a curveball. So in the Philippines, it's special to be able to eat with your hands. In fact, there's a restaurant in Manila called Kamayan, which is Tagalog for hand, and you pay extra money to go and eat with your hands, where the food is served on a banana leaf. And my parents would have loved it. I loved it. So so we've talked about chopsticks, but who else eats with their hands? Of course. Yeah.
Yep. Lots of hand eating.
And actually, Tony, that's such a important thing, because I read there are studies now, like there are scientific studies that show what we already know, those who eat by hands, that food tastes tastier when you don't have a metal or wooden barrier between you and the food. You know.
It's interesting. My grandfather, when we coax him to use, silverware, fork and knife, he would say, yeah, but that tastes like somebody else eating, not me.
Oh, I forgot to show you. This is salty egg. It's
Oh,
a kind of airtight wrapped, and this is the blue egg. You know, the blue egg, they fermented until it's black. So those eggs we eat with our hand, and we play with it a little bit, just like a cheese. So I forgot those were substitute for our spicy pepper. So this is the cabbage, spicy cabbage. This is the spicy radish. So I just go quick way, use them as ingredients. My spice. So it's all spiced up. So I understand how you feel when you come to America. You're like, oh, my tongue couldn't feel anything. The food is not.
we need our umami flavors.
Yeah,
Right.
yes, definitely.
All about umami.
Oh, Tony, what was the name of that the Filipino restaurant in Silver Spring or Wheaton?
Well, there's the new one. There's a new bakery that's opening up. It made it right open, called the Red Ribbon Bake Shop. Right there,
I don't know.
on that's at the corner of University and George Avenue, where the old Anchor Inn used to be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's right across from Ooh La La?
Yeah, well, yeah, sort of a little further down. Ooh La La is at the not at Georgia and University, but it's 1 block away. And
Oh,
then
yeah, that's right.
there's
Yeah, that's
Jolly
right.
Bee
One
is the
block.
fast food.
Oh, they
so
have the
that's
best
it.
mango pies at Jolly Bees. Oh my
That's right.
God.
That's
Bee,
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
good.
That's the
Oh my
equivalent of
God.
that's the equivalent of McDonald's apple pie, but with mango.
But it's mango. It's
Oh,
mango.
it is good. Yeah, I'm sure it's healthy for you too.
Oh, I don't care. I would rather have a short life and eat good than live forever and eat just green leaves. Okay. Like,
Now, speaking of that, my father, there are some foods, because again, as I mentioned at the beginning, that as the first American-born child, and we were living off of Military Nebraska Avenue, and my father would not only grow Filipino vegetables like bitter melon and squash, and but he would make his own dried fish called dilis. So you little anchovies, and you sort of stir fry them, and it would just drive me out of the house. It was just
That is so wonderful.
the aroma was so powerful. I'd have to flee to McDonald's or something.
I envy you all who are in Maryland. I don't know why I live in Virginia. I'm missing out on a lot of good food spots.
And Wheaton.
I need to go there. I wrote down most of the addresses, but if you could put links, I don't know, that would be great.
What are your favorite restaurants? You can put in the chat or shout out of our panelists could maybe say which of your favorite restaurants you've discovered.
Or send them all to Lisa and she can put it in one email.
Yeah, so Lisa, since this is being recorded, I assume the chat is also being recorded?
The chat that goes to everyone, not the personal chats.
Oh, thank God.
All the messages. Yeah, all the messages are included in the Zoom video. And then we will get it up on our YouTube page as well. But you might want to just share verbally your favorite restaurant. What restaurants in downtown Silver Spring do you recommend? Or surrounding areas?
Downtown.
Yeah, any favorites? I'm willing to drive to Virginia if it's got good food, Daveen.
I drive all the way to Maryland.
Well, we had peaked just a couple nights ago. We went to a place in Bethesda, not a fancy place, for the Peking duck, which was excellent.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's it called?
I'll have to look it up, and that was fun. It was good. You know, got a
'Cause
whole
I
duck.
usually go to Virginia for Peking duck.
Really?
Yeah, there's a
Mm.
fabulous restaurant in Virginia. It's been there forever. It's been there since the
You're talking about Duck Chang?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
That's my last name.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know I own a restaurant.
You didn't know you had a cousin duck?
No.
So the Peking duck in Bethesda is Wang Dynasty.
Wang
Oh.
Dynasty.
Wang
okay.
Dynasty. It's on
Good name.
Bethesda Avenue, but not the fancy part of Bethesda Avenue. It's sort of the across from the car dealership.
Oh,
But it's a small place, and they carve it very nicely. The skin is excellent. I am now getting very hungry.
Yeah, we may have to go to that restaurant.
So Lisa, I think there's been some comments in the chat that particularly we should try to organize
Potluck.
a potluck where
Please.
all the people who spoke should bring something.
oh, I have to
Oh,
practice.
that's a nice
Yeah.
idea.
That's
we-
good
You know-
incentive for me to
Do you-
practice.
do you know why I
I'm
need
not
that
for tofu.
potluck more than ever? I took my kids to a Taekwondo class. All the parents are Asian, so I thought our potluck would have a variety of Asian food. It was just 20 pizzas.
Oh,
Oh,
Because
they gotta go that
because
shortcut.
nobody
nobody
wants
trusts-
to cook. Nobody cooks.
Oh, it's worse than that. They don't trust homemade food because they don't know what they put in there, so they trust corporate America.
Oh,
Oh, that's so interesting.
So
Oh,
everybody
goodness.
feels
Oh,
safer to
because-
feed their children pizza because
Maybe.
at least they know. And I
Right.
made
They
an
think
eggplant
they
dish and not
know.
one Asian parent
Oh,
scooped in
touch
it.
it.
And I'm a good cook, okay? It's just because of that food anxiety. So it's very odd. So
Yeah,
I need
if
you
it
guys.
is-
I need you guys. That's all.
Yeah,
We-
if
you know,
it's eggplanted, it's
SSTCI
harder.
hosts potlucks, at least, you know, even before COVID, we were hosting like quarterly potlucks.
Yeah.
And they were always emphasizing international cuisine.
Yes.
So we will have a potluck probably in September. We have a picnic for our Blues Week event. So it's not so much sharing the food because some people are still, I
Yeah.
tried having a few potlucks. People were a little squeamish about eating food during COVID, even though it's not really transmitted that way. You know, we know that by science, but some people
Yeah.
yeah, but
are
when you,
still scared.
That's
So
more
when you-
understandable. But my pizza thing was before COVID.
yeah,
Oh,
Oh, yeah, well, everyone thinks, yeah, and then you have
allergies.
allergy. I had
Yeah,
a
yeah.
severe wheat allergy before I was put on a cancer medication and
Oh, no.
blocked my immune system, and now I can eat wheat, unfortunately. It kind of kept me on a better diet, but now people never believed I had a gluten allergy, and I would say, do I look like I turned down a piece of cake? You know?
Yes.
But it's coming back. But so Asian food is actually really good for people with a lot of food allergies, you know, because
Yeah.
you have many non-gluten options and also
and
no dairy.
often. Yeah,
Yeah,
Vegan options, very good vegan options.
yeah.
And also it can, anyone can usually eat it. Soy sauce is an allergen for some
Gluten.
people. So, but there's alternative, you know, tamari.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So, you know, Michelle is the person who brought Hawaiian pizza, right? The pineapple on the pizza. She brought it here to DC.
I did not. No, I do not like Hawaiian style pizza.
That's a Canadian invention, if you guys know.
Is it really? I just
Right.
Yeah, that's I don't know why it came from Canada.
Really Hawaiian?
Yeah,
pizza came
yeah.
from-
If you look at the origin of Hawaiian pizza, it's a Canadian thing.
It's Canadian. Oh my God.
As an Italian, please, no pineapple pizza.
Yeah, no pineapple pizza.
No garlic, no garlic. Oh, I forgot this Chinese restaurant, Hollywood East.
Ooh, where's
Hey.
that?
Oh, I've
That's in
heard
the
about that.
Wheaton Shopping Mall, the first floor.
Where?
Cantonese style? Like,
Wheaton.
what kind of Chinese?
Wheaton?
Sichuan or like?
Okay.
Dim sum also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have a very variety of it, very good cuisine. And they have the New Year dragon dance. I think
Oh.
the restaurant has it one Sunday. Right, they have that included, but you just have to make a reservation quickly. But you get
Now
blessed.
So
food is
Lily, you mentioned Gourmet Inspiration, right?
Right,
For the dim sum, and that's right there on
University Boulevard.
University Boulevard.
What was it again? Gourmet Inspiration?
Yeah,
Yeah.
between University Boulevard and Georgia Avenue, just driving a bit. They are
Okay.
facing the other way. Sometimes you'll miss the sign.
Yeah.
But besides it, probably a pizza. I remember that's how I show people. If you see the pizza,
Yeah, it's near
Right.
it's near the Lido's Pizza.
right? So you can have
Oh,
both.
it's near. Oh, it's the place. Is it the one next to the Lido's?
Well, I think there's a business in between.
Right, the sign is not that obvious, but
Yeah.
it's good. On the other side of the University Boulevard and Georgia is the Wang Chi.
And there's a special shout out to Mondelez as Gary Klauber with Silver Spring Village, and he partners with us on the Sparkle program monthly, and points out Tony Sistema of the Washington Post highly recommends Mondelez, a Burmese restaurant in Bonifant, which I know recently reopened, and they are a huge favorite of vegans and vegetarians also. They have so many options on their menu, a wide variety. There was another thing, it was Koku something I saw. What was it? Oh, Cook Kai Thai noodle, Neha. What was it called? How do you say it?
It's called Kukai Thai,
Kukai Thai,
and it's right opposite
food.
Mandalay, and it's a family-owned restaurant. Really, really great. And I feel I'm always in like eternal dilemma when I'm in the road. They're opposite to each other, Mandalay and Kukai Thai. We'll have to toss. Should I go here? Should I go here? It's on Bonifants, I think.
You mean it used to be called something else, right?
Yes, yeah. It's
Is
under
it
like
really
new
called-
ownership and yeah.
Are you really saying Kukai? Is that really what you're saying? The name of the
I'm-
restaurant?
Yes, I may be saying it not right, but that's it's called KOOK KAI. Yeah.
Right.
But it's Kuokai then,
That
not
part is
Kukai.
Cantonese, right?
It's
Somebody's last
Kukai
name
is a really bad word in Hawaiian.
Oh, really?
This is Thai language.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but actually, like there's many different countries around the world that use this word, but it means poop.
Oh,
Wow. What a nice word for poop.
really?
Kukai,
Raise your hand
yes.
if you've heard that before in another language.
Yeah, it's used in many places around the world. Actually, it's
In Japanese means ku is sky and is ocean.
So it's sky and ocean.
Yeah,
That's where poop goes.
Yeah, I think
So-
Chinese the same way.
Vicky, you have your hand
Vicky
raised?
has a question here.
Yes, well, it wasn't a question, but I wanted to add on to what Lily said about Hollywood East,
Oh, okay.
owned by Janet Yu. She spoke to this group last year, and not only does she have fabulous food, Chinese food, but she has great dim sum on the weekends. Although she serves dim sum every day, it's much more fun to have the carts going around where you can really pick and choose what you like. Just want to put that out there.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Nice. The one
Has anyone been to Momolicious on Georgia Avenue? It's a Nepalese restaurant.
It's really good. It's one of my favorite Uber Eats place. Also, you can Uber Eats dumplings. It's so
Someone need to pass this on.
And
to
momos.
Momo.
Yes, and momos. Yeah, yeah.
How about other favorite places?
Also, the food trucks, the Himalayan food truck does momos, and we usually go to that when we see it. We saw it at the Asian festival yesterday in historic Fairfax, where the Christians, the organizers of that, and they had every year all the food stations have a line for over an hour each one. And the food trucks and the food setups, the tent, and it's huge. So for food, I recommend that Fairfax. We have an echo in here. If someone has two connections with us, I muted everyone here. So the food festival and also the Fiesta Asia in DC, but there was also one usually held in downtown Silver Spring, and I don't know if it's still going on. And also a shout out to Chef Kaimana's uncle's Hawaiian Grindz, which is north of Baltimore. So it's a little farther away, but it's very much worth the drive. We've been there a couple of times, and the food is excellent.
And what is the food, Lisa?
Hawaiian food, Uncle's Hawaiian Grindz, Chef Kaimana Cheese Restaurant. So
there's a Filipino restaurant in White Flint, or it used to be White Flint, called Kuya Ja's. Kuya and then Ja, J-A. The best lechon pork, the crispy skin.
They have them there.
And the lumpia is also very good. All of it's good. Pancit, the whole deal. It's
where is this?
What's the name again?
Kuya Ja, K-U-Y-A.
K-U-Y.
You know, older brother. And then
Okay.
J-A is the name. Kuya Ja.
K-U-Y-A.
Right. And then
K-U-Y-A.
second
Kuya
word is
Ja.
Ja, J-A.
Where is it?
It's off of Rockville Pike, you know where the Rodman's is and the
Yeah.
big golf store there now. That little shopping is in that little strip away, across the parking lot.
Nicholson
Is that the
Lane.
one across from
Nicholson
Mom's?
Lane.
Is that the little shopping center across? No, you
Oh,
said
no.
Rodman's. No. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting this wrong. Okay.
Yeah, when I need a fix of fatty pork, that's where I go.
Wow, I didn't know
Turn it
where.
off and
Thank
fried
you
them.
for that one.
And Korean barbecue is our favorite cuisine, and we probably eat it at least once a month. We have tried at least a dozen Korean barbecue places in the area. Most of them are in Northern Virginia. And our favorite is called So, S-O, which means cow in Korean. And they have very good galbi, and you can cook it at your table.
And
then
where is that?
That's in Centerville,
Oh,
just
serious.
behind Spa World. And Spa World, the Korean bathhouse.
Yes.
You go there too.
Well, I don't know if I should say it here, but they had some controversy. Anyways, that's all.
Oh,
You remember what happened at Spa World a few years ago?
Yeah.
yeah, it was in the news. Like they said they weren't paying. It was said that they weren't paying their workers, and I used to always ask them privately because I know many of them.
Right.
And, so it's difficult.
It's a nice place, though.
Yeah.
How about
and I would tip
No,
a
it's
cap.
not. I totally disagree. I think that's terrible.
But they do have a bibimbap. They have very good
It didn't
bibimbap.
feel clean. That's what I didn't like about it, because they didn't force people to take showers. Whereas
people need
when
to
you're in Europe,
respect the
you go to,
sites.
when you go to the German spas or the Austrian or the Swiss spas, I mean, you go into this shower and you take a shower and there's somebody there, And then from there, you can go into
Like
the,
enforce,
into the
they do
foods.
have people telling you, enforcing it. But it's
saw
very
many-
awkward, you know, it's, you're bringing a Korean bathing tradition to an American setting with a diversity of people who, you know, they think splashing maybe water on their body is washing.
Mhm.
And I always explain to people, there's not a lot of chlorine in the water, and you are sharing the water. And
Yeah,
out
but
of
that was the
respect,
other
you
thing.
need
Yeah,
to
they
wash.
had chlorine in the water, which was really horrible. In the
Yeah.
places.
Yeah, there's very minimal chlorine in the at Spa World. That's why I prefer it over King
But you
Spa.
can smell it. I mean, you know, when you walk into the area, you can smell the chlorine, and it's yeah, it
In
was not
King Spa, you can. It's too much chlorine, but they also have a great restaurant inside Spa World.
they do. The restaurant was good. We had a great meal there.
Can you eat without doing the spa stuff?
Yes, you
Well,
can.
you have to pay
You
to go
can go
in.
in and just
Oh.
yeah.
You don't have to go in the naked section, which is gender
That's-
specific,
well,
you know,
it's-
separated.
Yeah,
by
the
gender.
naked section, because all my neighbors are there. Like, am I gonna run into all my naked neighbors? That's what makes me nervous about, like.
Yeah.
I
But
can't-
it's more the cleanliness of the space that really.
Oh no, it's my daggly boobs and stretch marks. I'm too
Yeah,
self-conscious.
well, I mean, you see that in any kind, you know, in all these kinds of spas, but it's the cleanliness and the.
Yeah, that's an American thing, I think, to be so self-conscious and worry that people are looking at you, but.
Yeah.
and
The
I
my
was
neighbors,
really-
my neighbors
I
will
got
look at
over
me.
it.
Yeah, the Europeans don't care about that at all. They're like,
Yeah.
who cares, you
So
know?
I see that we've shifted our topic.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
we gotta get back to food.
I'm
I
sorry.
thought so.
Well, we
But
are
the
snacks.
Korean barbecue is great and all over. I mean, I've never met Korean barbecue I didn't like, really.
So Lisa, have you tried the Korean barbecue? Any of the new places like in Wheaton Plaza and downtown Silver Spring? New Korean restaurants.
There's
Yeah, what
some
about the
fast
one on
food.
Fenton? There's a new one that was supposed to open on Fenton. Has anybody tried that one?
On Fenton? I don't know
Yeah,
that
right
one.
by H&M, I think. You know, right across from where the CVS is. I thought there was a Korean place that was supposed to open there.
There's a bebop or something, but that's like fast food and it's very Americanized. I don't recommend that. That's near the
No, there was this, I heard this interview with this Korean chef that was gonna open. I thought it was there, but I could be completely wrong.
Well, the
Okay.
one I'm thinking of is on Wayne in Georgia.
Wayne in Georgia.
Oh, maybe it was
Is
Wayne
it
in-
open yet?
Oh,
Is
it's
it?
open.
Have you been there?
I haven't been.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
And then there's one in
Um,
Wheaton Plaza.
Okay, so what's your favorite Japanese restaurant that's out there?
Hmm.
I've had Japanese food in California and in sushi aside and in New York, but I've never had it in DC. I don't know if there's really.
I really like the sushi place that's on East West Highway, like across from the Blairs, for the ambiance, because you can sit outside. There's this nice fountain. The food is okay.
Yeah,
It's not.
I like Sushi Gin in downtown Silver Spring for sushi. I was
Okay,
thinking of
okay.
general Japanese.
But where is that place? Sushi what?
Sushi Gin is near Leb Tav and the empanada place and the mattress store right on
okay.
Fenton.
On Fenton
Right
Street.
there.
Yeah.
It's been there forever.
Okay.
And I also hear good things about the Vietnamese pho place.
Yes,
on-
yes,
No,
that's
haven't gone yet.
very good. It's excellent. And their Vietnamese sandwiches are fantastic.
Yeah.
And Tiffany is really nice.
Oh,
She's
you know all the people.
Yeah.
too.
What's
Well, yeah.
inside what's inside the Vietnamese sandwich?
Well, it depends. I mean, you know, they have a variety of things that you can put in it, but it's this wonderful, it's almost almost like a brioche kind of a bread. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's just delicious. It's a great, great sandwich. It's really good. But you know what? I feel bad about this, but I have to go. I have to do a phone call with my grandma.
Yeah.
Great.
But anyway, this was great. Lisa, Tony, thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, mahalo. Everybody,
Thank you,
get your-
Tony.
yeah,
for
eat your
hosting
spam.
us and
I will.
Cancer.
I will.
Thank you to
Okay.
everyone for joining us. Have a great rest of the evening.
All right, I'm gonna go eat.
Oh, you're gonna go.
Yes.
eat? Oh, well, okay. I didn't mean to break it up, but he's been bugging me. He keeps sending me like, when are you? Okay, so anyway, okay. So take care, you guys.
All right.
It was thanks for all the good recommendations on places to eat. Okay,
Lisa,
take care. Aloha.
Lisa, you'll send a link out to the
Mahalo.
recording.
Mahalo.
Yes, I'll send everyone a link.
Okay.
Thank you again for joining us for AAPI Culinary Traditions. We look forward to seeing you at the Caribbean Culinary Traditions on Thursday, the 29th of June. Have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you.